Today I want to show you guys why I like resistance bands so much, especially for people who are on the go or don't have the space for an at-home gym. These are the resistance bands that I use the most. I actually have quite a few sets of them. One thing that's super nice about them is that this is, as you can see in comparison to my hand, this is everything you need right here in this little to-go bag. Super light, everything you need. So let's take a look at what comes in the bag. First thing is a door anchor, which is why I am by these two doors, so I can show you how this works. Next will come two hand grips. After that, you will find two ankle straps as well. And finally, you have the resistance bands themselves. They are marked with simulated weights. Simulated meaning, so this one, for example, says it's 10 pounds. So it will simulate 10 pounds of resistance. Obviously, it's not the same as a 10-pound dumbbell, but it's pretty similar in the level of resistance. So we got 10s, you got 20s, 30s, 40s, and finally you have 50-pound level of resistance. Next, I want to tell you how you can increase the level of resistance in various different ways. Number one is if you want to use one resistance band, the further away you step away from the anchor point, the more resistance you will feel because the resistance band will stay tight. Versus if you're really close, when you get back to your resting position, you may find that it gets actually pretty light. Almost next to no resistance because obviously it's not stretched out. Another way to increase the resistance or the level of resistance is you can actually, instead of having it one end on the anchor point and this end on your handle, you can actually loop this around so that it doubles up like this. That will also increase the level of resistance of the band. Option number 3, if this is not enough and you need more weight, you can take one of the other resistance bands and add it to the movement so that it increases the resistance of your movement. Of course, this probably goes without saying, but you can add all of them all at once. So as you see here, I have all 5 bands connected to the strap. So if you actually need more resistance, the more packs of bands you buy, the more resistance you can actually get in a given workout. Now what I want to do is talk about the anchor points. There's a couple of different ways you can do this. I'll step back here. Option number 1 is you can use your feet as the anchor point. You can stand on the resistance bands to create the anchor point. This comes in handy if you're trying to do floor work or simple biceps or tricep workouts or lateral raises. So if you don't have a door to anchor to, standing on it is pretty good. If you're gonna do ground work with the resistance bands, I actually recommend instead of putting it lying down on the ground and putting it on your feet like this, I don't know if you guys can see that. Instead of putting it on your feet like this and risking it sliding off and slapping you in the face, I actually recommend taking one of the, or both of them, depending on the movement you're doing, taking the ankle straps and actually wrapping them around your foot. I'm going to use my shoe as an example of what it is I'm trying to talk about. Of course, I'm not wearing the shoe, but you'll get the idea. What I do is I wrap it around my shoe like this. You see that? So it goes around. So if I'm doing groundwork, I can take the resistance band and I can actually loop it through like this. Of course, you don't have to loop it through like this because the end here can be kind of tight and a bit of a pain to get in there. And you can actually just clip it on with the carabiners. The only downside to that is when you're doing floor work, you don't have very much space to work with as far as distance between you holding on to the handles and your feet. So it does limit the amount of resistance, but if you can double it up like that, it does help add extra resistance. Another way to set an anchor point is if you have a solid foundation, such as me, for example, I have some heavy gym equipment in my home gym. You can actually take this and wrap it around anything that has a solid foundation. So something that's not going to move or fall over when you're in the movement. For example, like this equipment here that I have is not going to fall over. So I can wrap the resistance band around that and I can do face pulls. That was not a very good form of face pull because my wall is here, but you can do face pulls, you can do bicep curls. And pretty much if I wrap it around the top, I could do tricep movements. Lots of movements you can do with this method. Now for the most popular way of doing an anchor point. We want to use the door anchor with a door, obviously. There's a couple things to consider when using the anchor with a door. Try and choose a door that somebody's not going to accidentally open in the middle of an exercise and smack you in the face with your resistance band. To prevent that from happening, we're going to take the anchor and we're actually going to go to the other side. Now that we've gone to the other side, we've slid the anchor in on the side of the door. So we slid the anchor in on the side of the door that has the hinges. This is a key way to prevent any accidents from happening. Because even if the door opens, it doesn't fit through, okay? If the door opens, if someone accidentally opens it in the middle of an exercise, it doesn't fit through and it's not going to smack you in the face. And it will slide up and down pretty nice. You can also set this at any height that fits you, almost like if you had a cable machine that with adjustable pulleys. That's kind of the idea that we have here. So as you see, when the door is closed, it's not sliding. It's pinched in. It's solid. It's not moving anywhere. You take your band, you loop it through, and now you have your anchor point. And like I said, you can slide this up and down. So if you want it higher up, you just have to go to the other side of the hinge. If you want it lower down, you can open the door and you can just slide it up and down to whichever position you want. You want a low position, go all the way down. You do have to work around the hinges, so it does take some time because you got to go to the other side of the door, so on and so forth. But this method works whether the door opens in or out. So this is a pretty rough tutorial, quick, fast, and furious on how you can get started with your resistance bands. I hope it was helpful. A key takeaway from this is that as long as you have a set of these resistance bands and a point to anchor it down to, whether it's your feet, a door, and you can even use a car door if you're someone that is on the go all the time. But with that, I would stress to make sure you do not use a window of your car to close down on the anchor point, because you do not want to risk breaking your window. If you're going to use a car door, make sure you open the door all the way and you actually use a solid anchor point that's not going to bend or break or shatter. I personally find these tubular resistance bands to be absolutely phenomenal and a great addition to any home gym, or in lieu of a home gym in a lot of cases. Before I got all of my equipment, this is what I used. I used the resistance bands to do all of my workouts, including deadlifts, squats, bicep curls, lateral raises, everything. This video marks the first in a series of videos that I plan on doing to show you how you can utilize these types of resistance bands from home or on the go. In the videos to follow, I plan on showing you how to do specific exercises with nothing but these types of bands. If you like those videos, I'm going to consider doing live workouts and even pre-built programs to put here on YouTube for people to follow. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section below, give us a subscribe, and like this video. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this tutorial helped some of you who are beginners to be more comfortable with these types of resistance bands.